Hey everyone, my name is Aditya, and I'm the co-founder and CEO at Alure, LLC.
And I'm James Duquette, and I'm a co-founder and COO at Alure, LLC.
So you see, my mom, she loves her plum trees, like many Minnesota gardeners do. However, every summer, like clockwork, in May, our plum trees would be bombarded by Japanese beetles. These disastrous pests would absolutely ravage our poor plum trees' leaves, as you can see right here in the picture. And they wouldn't even just attack the leaves, they would go after the fruits too and absolutely destroy it. Some summers, we would only have 1 or 2 fruits left at the end of the season. But my mom, she did not give up, and she could not see her plum trees go to waste. So she would recruit me and my brother, and every evening we would actually go outside and help our mom during the summer, put a tarp under the tree, we'd grab our buckets of soapy water, and we'd pick the beetles by hand for hours and hours. It was a long process, it's gruesome, think about all the beetle juice, and there just had to be a better way. But interestingly enough, there isn't. There's only 2 other alternatives on the market. The first alternative is those big box store bag traps that you've seen. But unfortunately, bag traps actually bring more Japanese beetles to your yard. They attract things not just from your neighbors, but also from across the street. And not only that, they don't kill the Japanese beetles. They just attract them, and then the bag trap fills and fills and fills. And eventually, if you don't keep an eye on those traps, they overflow, and you might have a worse problem than you started off with. In addition, the other alternative solution arguably is actually even worse, and that's insecticides. The thing about insecticides is they're broad spectrum. So not only are you hurting the environment and your real estate, so think about it economically, but also environmentally speaking, Minnesota is home to over 150 species of pollinators that our soybean farmers as well as our corn crop producers rely on, and insecticides are actually harming those pollinators. And so it's not just my mom's plum trees that we have to worry about here. Japanese beetles are a problem across all of our 48 continental states in the US, and they're a financial sinkhole that the USDA considers high concern. Their invasiveness costs us $460 million a year during the summer. Isn't that wild? And not only that, they target over 300 species of plants. We're talking about your vines, your poor rose bushes during the summer, as well as many different kinds of trees, and of course our soybeans and corn crops. And there's many more, but we don't have all day to list them out.
So our team has developed a first of its kind attract and kill solution to kill these large waves of Japanese beetles. Our solution is an insecticide-treated netting with a Japanese beetle lure on the inside of the conical structure to attract and kill just the Japanese beetle. The beetle is attracted to the netting, walks on the netting for just a few seconds, and gets just enough insecticide to be killed. This netting is safe for humans and pets to touch and handle, and so no more picking of Japanese beetles, no more dumping of traps, and no more spraying, and it lasts the entire Japanese beetle season. And we have the results to back it up. Last season and this season, we tested at 2 different field tests. Last year, we tested at 3 Minnesota vineyards, deployed over 30 different devices at St. Croix Vineyards, 7 Vine Vineyards, and Alexis Bailey Vineyards. What we found was our traps were in fact attracting and killing the Japanese beetle and reducing the large populations at these vineyards. We also found that after our 3 months, our trap retained a 90% kill efficacy at the end of those 3 months. We additionally this summer tested at over 20 different home gardens, and here are 2 of our testers from this summer. Both had Japanese beetles infestations before the implementation of our device. After we implemented our device, the Japanese beetles from the targeted plant were attracted to our trap and was killed at 80 to 90% efficiency. We also had 2 additional control sites, of which there was no Japanese beetle infestation, and we found that we were not attracting Japanese beetles where there were no infestations.
Yep. So as James discussed, we decided that our target market, our beachhead, will be homeowners first. Because like my mom's plum trees, a lot of gardeners right now are picking them by hand, and there's got to be a better solution than that. In addition, we also found that they're the most likely to try something new because there isn't anything else out there that's new. We still plan to go business to business in the near future, so talking about Alexis Bailey as well as Seven Vines Vineyards, which are a staple here in a local Twin Cities. But we plan to do so once we've shown a little bit more traction and it's sold our products to many homeowners so they have them right out there in their backyards. And most interestingly enough, our go-to market strategy has proven to be extremely powerful because our story seems to hit close to home to many other growers and gardeners. So within the last 2 years, every time we've been featured on CBS News, the Star Tribune, KSTP, as well as many other news channels, our inbox has exploded, potentially even faster than the Japanese beetles coming in each summer. And in the process of that, we actually ended up getting over 1,100 growers all the way down from orchards in Tennessee up to the vineyards in the north between our neighbors in Wisconsin, all signing up to our newsletter because they are excited to try something new when there hasn't been any innovation in this industry in decades. And we're not just having them sit on that wait list either. We're getting them involved in their communities. So most recently, we actually built a data-driven beetle tracker that's available on our website. So growers from anywhere in the United States can self-report where they're seeing their beetles. No grower should ever again have to worry about coming in and seeing a bunch of beetles and not being prepared for it. Our communities can be a lot more resilient than that. And so we're putting our data to good use. And we've also found a great number of local partners. So a lot of the work we're doing, including the construction and development of our devices, is all in the USA and locally here in St. Paul. So most recently, that's Jeff there. He owns HBI, which is a textile manufacturer up in St. Paul. We recently started working with them. They've been in business for about 3 decades. And we actually constructed our first manufacturer grade sample with them just 2 months ago. In addition, we also have intellectual property. We filed a provisional patent with Lathrop GPM, which is also a local law firm, and so we have a provisional patent active until April of 2026. However, by then, we plan to have our EPA registration, which will provide us a moat for 10 to 15 years. And we also have a great deal of partners for our raw materials. So Hircon Environmental, they provide us with our high-quality beetle lures. Main Pole provides us with the actual custom nets that we have here, which we'll also pull up during Q&A again. And then Regulatory Compliance Solutions provides us with the EPA consulting to get us through the whole EPA process and be able to get this in everyone's yards very, very soon.
So this is not just a Scott County issue. This is a U.S. issue with the beetle being found across the U.S. and even a global issue with the beetle most recently being found in France, Italy, and Switzerland. And the global pest management market is valued at $22.6 billion and growing at a CAGR of 7%. With this, we are pricing our device at $29.99, giving us revenue of $20 for each direct-to-consumer online sale and $5 for each retail sale in stores like Bachman's, with a cost of goods sold of around $10 as confirmed by our textile manufacturer. This is a look at our income statement. We see great growth in the next few years once we're able to sell, coming in at $5 million in year 4 and break even in year 3. This is with cost of goods sold still at $10 and a growing margins year over year. So since the beginning of our LLC was formed a year and a half ago, we're at the precipice of selling commercially through different retailers and online. There's only one hurdle left we have to get over, and that's the EPA registration, which we're currently working on. And once we get that EPA registration, we plan to sell to home gardeners, then eventually to vineyards and larger growers, and then overall expand this to other pests as it's easily transitionable.
So as James has mentioned, we're just inches away from the market. We've already raised $8,000. Another $8,000 is all it's going to take for us to be able to get that EPA registration and these devices in the hands of growers very, very soon. And like we had talked about earlier, this problem might have started in Shakopee, which is Scott County, but we hope this can be a staple in households throughout the United States, and we'd be proud to have your support in doing so. So thank you very much, and we're absolutely excited to answer any questions we can answer.